Olight I3T Plus. I have been waiting for this light for years, many years, because the I3T, the regular I3T, is my most carried light. It's so small, and especially if you put a 10440 battery in it, it's super bright. It's bright by itself, but you put that lithium-ion rechargeable battery in it, and it gets even brighter. But for work in the ER, looking at people's mouths and eyes, this is not, I feel like, not the right light. And so for the past 6 years, I've been carrying this TrueNight Ti4, and great light, no complaints about it. But I asked Olight years ago, like, hey, I love this, and I love this, can you put them together and finally make this? So, like I said, I've been asking for this light for years, and they've been saying, no, we're not making that light for years. And when I saw they were coming out, I couldn't wait to get one. And aside from this, so it comes in black, and it comes in blue. The blue is gorgeous. They sent me a black one, and I already put a blue one in my shopping cart. I'm gonna buy a blue one because that blue color, it's gorgeous. I love the black, but those blue, anyway. Black and blue comes in. $29.95, you can get it on sale. Catch one of their flash sales. It's a little bit cheaper. It's a 2 AA battery light, and it's, you know, the size that a typical pen light would be. This light has 2 outputs, 15 lumens and 250 lumens. That's it. It's a very straightforward user interface with only 2 outputs. So here's the light. If you are familiar with the I3T or the I5T, the I3T Plus is going to be right at home for you, just a little bit longer. Just to give you a quick size comparison, here's the I3T Plus, the regular I3T, and the I5T. And then just to throw it in, this TrueNight Ti4 is just a little bit shorter, effectively the same size, but it is just slightly shorter than the Olight. Effectively negligible, you're not going to notice it when you carry it, but just slightly shorter and maybe just slightly thinner through the body. Again, I think not enough that you'll probably notice it in your pocket or carrying it. Holding it, they're about the same. I love the double helix knurling that Olight puts on their lights like this. It's a nice, neat pattern. Not that you're at great risk for dropping this, but it does give you just a little bit more grip on it. On the back is the standard Olight soft rubberized tail button. And you open this up, there's an O-ring here for that IPX8 rating, and then on the inside, 2 AAA batteries, which it does come with, which I always appreciate. Now, something I don't know in relation to this light is whether you can use 10440 rechargeable batteries. I've seen some comments both ways on it. I will say that in my i3Ts, I am using 10440 lithium-ion rechargeable batteries, and it definitely increases the output, and I've not had any problems with both of my i3Ts that I put it on. I have seen some varying comments on the i3T Plus, whether or not it can use them. I even saw some people say, put them in, turn the light on, it will flash once and never work it again. So admittedly, I have been a little too chicken to try them. If any of you have tried it or know that it should work, or anyone from Olight knows, post it in the comments, let me know before I kill my new flashlight that I got. But I will say, definitely increases the output on this. Anyway, back to the i3T Plus. Standard Olight bi-directional pocket clip for mounting on a hat, for mounting in your pocket. Only fits in one spot. There's the knurling there that I showed you. And then down at the head, i3T Plus, Olight logo there. The LED there has a PMMA optic lens. PMMA is polymethyl methyl acrylate, which essentially is plexiglass. User interface is pretty straightforward. Half press to get through the 2 brightnesses. That low of 15 lumens, high of 250. And as you can see, it ramps up slowly between the 2 of them. You see that? The i3T is just quick between the 2 of them. The older i5T did have that slow ramp up, but the new i5T is instant. I prefer the instant to that gradual. When I first got it, the older i5T, I was like, oh, that's nice. But I prefer the instant for the full brightness instead of the ramp up. For what that's worth, not a huge deal, but that's the way it works. You can either half press through the 2 modes, or you can click it on, full press, click it on again, full press, and it will go through the 2 modes. That's all it is, low, high, low, high. It always defaults to the low mode, which is 15 lumens for 28 hours. And then the high is 250 lumens. It will do that 250 for 1 minute, and then it will ramp down to 100 lumens for another 8 hours. Now, good and bad between those two things. For everyday use, like I mentioned, I carry the I3T for the most part. But for working in the ER, I needed a little bit more light, and for that reason, I've been carrying the penlight, the TI4, for the past 6 years. Now, the user interface on these is different, and both have advantages and disadvantages. The TI4 comes onto that moonlight mode, which is not bright enough for looking in people's mouths and eyes for the most part, except in a dark room when someone has a migraine and their eyes are adjusted. It's bright enough. But for the most part, when I'm looking in throats, I have to click it onto the moonlight and then click it on a second time, and then I'm at the useful brightness that I can use it for. The Olight comes on every time to that 15 lumens, which is good enough in a lit room for looking in throats and eyes. So I don't have to think about it. I just come in, I click it on, I look. The TI4 always had to make 2 clicks to get to the brightness I wanted. So again, pluses and minuses. The TI4 does have a total of 4 outputs. This only has 2. I don't need a strobe, but I would like this to maybe have a medium output somewhere between 50 and 250, maybe 100 lumens, somewhere in there, or maybe have a lower, a 5 lumen output and a 50 lumen output. So that'd be my only real critique of the light, is just have maybe a few more outputs, a little bit more spaced out, maybe a little bit lower, a little bit more mediumer. Let's go check out some beam shots on this now. Now for starters, here is the I3T Plus on the low mode and the high mode. So there's that. Now in comparison, I'm going to bring in the regular I3T. I put regular AAA batteries in both of these. I got rid of the rechargeable. So the same batteries in both of these, new batteries in both of these. So let's first compare the low modes of both of them. 5 lumens over here on the I3T, 15 lumens over on the left on the I3T Plus. I definitely can tell a difference between the two of those modes. Now the high modes on both of them, 175 over here, 250 over here. Really, in the camera, it doesn't look like there's much of a difference, and to my naked eye, it doesn't look like there's much of a difference. Maybe because I know the I3T Plus is brighter, I can see a little bit of a difference, but overall, it is not a significant difference between the two. Now, one more comparison, I3T Plus on the left and the ThruNite TI4 on the right. The ThruNite definitely has a much yellower beam. You can see there. Brightness-wise, the batteries on this one may be a little bit more beat down, so there could be that factor to it. I would say that the Olight does appear brighter than the ThruNite, and that cooler beam tone does help with that. Now looking a little farther away, this is the low mode on the TI3 Plus, and there's the high mode, and that is fairly similar to what my eyes are seeing. So kind of a broad beam, you can see there. Broad-based beam, nice and diffuse. The low mode on the camera is not really going to be picked up on this setting, but I can see it with some decent brightness here with my naked eye. Looks about like that to my eye. Now again, a comparison of the high modes between the I3T and the I3T Plus. There's the I3T. There's the I3T Plus. So again, really not a night and day difference between the two of them. Really very comparable lights for that high output. So there you go, the Olight I3T Plus. Nice 2 AA battery light from Olight. I like the size of it. I like the outputs for medical use. I would like there to be a few more outputs, maybe a mid output, but it is a nice light, and I'm thrilled that they finally came out with something like this, and I can't wait to get that blue one in the mail. So there you go. Check one out, links below. Catch you next time.